7:04 p.m. Monday night, a post on Truth Social, bragging that India runs elections where less than 1% voted by mail, and then demanding that Congress pass Donald Trump's voting crackdown now. Then, between 7:49 p.m. and 7:52 p.m., 7 Florida endorsements. Every single one of them ending in all caps saying, "Get out and vote." Totally Trump wrote those. You know that, right? And so on Election Day, as he typed all of that out, or at least had Natalie type it out for him, where was Donald Trump's ballot? It had already arrived by mail from 900 miles away. And folks, there's your election fraud right there, your 34-time felon voting by mail, along with Melania and Barron, by the way. Yes, the country's loudest enemy of mail-in voting voted in Tuesday's Florida Republican primary by mail. Palm Beach County's own records showing that he requested his ballot back in July and it got delivered to them back on Thursday. And let's look at some of Trump's greatest hits when it comes to this. Universal mail is highly susceptible to fraud. The cheating on mail-in voting is legendary. I think mail-in voting is horrible. It's corrupt. All others gave it up because of the massive voter fraud encountered. Mail-in ballots are inherently corrupt. Mail-in ballots are detrimental to honest elections. It is mail-in cheating. Donald Trump signed an executive order this year to overhaul the entire system, ordering the government to build out these citizenship lists and only send ballots to pre-approved addresses. He tried to block bipartisan legislation over his SAVE Act, and his administration is at the Supreme Court right now trying to force his orders through before the midterms. And yes, he totally cast his highly susceptible to fraud, legendarily cheating, horrible, inherently corrupt, detrimental ballot by mail. And the White House response, nearly perfect. Olivia Wales, the spokesperson, said the whole thing was a non-story and explained that his crackdown has common sense hardship exceptions for illness, disability, military, or travel, because he obviously primarily lives at the White House. And yes, when I think of hardship, I think of Donald Trump, of course. Meanwhile, there are 80-year-olds in Florida who will have to stand in the August sun for 2 hours because Donald Trump told them that mail-in ballots are for cheaters. And the 80-year-old in Washington, the one that told him that, voted from the comfort of his air-conditioned office. And look, this mailbox thing is personal for a lot of you guys because Donald Trump has spent years telling everybody in this country that that blue box on your corner is a crime scene, that your grandma's absentee ballot is a threat to our republic, that the mail, the thing that delivers your medications and tax refunds somehow turns criminal the second it contains a ballot. Unless that ballot is filled out by Donald Trump. Then that ballot is a patriot. Cue the Lee Greenwood. Wait, please don't. That song sucks so bad. But look, I've got to ask you guys, should there be a national standard for how Americans vote? I think states should still have most of the control, but should at least the same rules apply to the president in Washington as it does for a nurse coming off her night shift? Or are 50 different systems with 50 different loopholes the whole point? I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. And yet for Trump, the rules are for you and me. They're not for him. Mail voting is fraud unless he does it. Election integrity is supposed to be sacred unless you're a trucker that's mid-route, a single mom working 2 jobs, a soldier whose spouse is moving bases. Then if it's you, then you need to get in line, prove your papers, and pray that your country didn't close your nearest precinct. Donald Trump's convenience, it's just common sense. Yours, it's a criminal enterprise, a crime wave. That orange turd is now voted by mail twice this year alone. All the while, he's building a federal machine to make it harder for you to do it yourself. And think about what's actually riding on this. The midterms, 11 or so weeks away. The order is sitting at the Supreme Court, and it would let the government decide whose mailbox counts. All before you even get to vote in November. And that's why this can't just be a chuckle and a shrug. And yes, the primaries, that's happened. But it's going to get worse in November. The administration isn't howling about August. They're up in arms about November. So you've got to start now. The 3 things you have to do: get your ID sorted. And just because it's valid right now doesn't mean they're not going to require you to have real ID by November. If you can, bring your passport with you. Find that birth certificate. Get your stuff in order. Then, when it comes to mail-in, if you have to vote absentee, request your ballot the first day you're able to, return it the first day you're able to, and follow every step along the way in tracking. And then importantly, after this primary is counted and done, look for your locals to talk and brag about how secure this election was. Post, ask them questions, get them on the record, because it's going to be really, really weird that nothing went wrong in August, yet in November it was suddenly stolen. It's going to be a little weird. We're not going to be weird, and that's why I'm going to ask that you guys subscribe to us. Because we, unlike Donald Trump's mail-in ballots, are not inherently corrupt. Look, Donald Trump's told you, system's rigged, mail can't be trusted, until he needs it. That's when it works perfectly. Funny how that keeps happening.